Hey guys, so there has been a patch released for Space Engineers fairly recently, and what it's done, it has really ramped up the abilities of the physics in that it can actually use multi-threading now, and it all runs a lot better. I've been playing it on a friend's server, so it's actually viable for me to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is getting started in Space Engineers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and start this up. Now, when you start in space, Space Engineers, you'd think that would be the main focus, but actually when you start in space, it's really more resource management than anything. You don't really have, unless you really amp up the settings, you don't really have anything particularly dangerous except yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I crash my fucking ship all the time, but the idiocy taken out of the equation, you don't really have that much to worry about except for just making sure you have the resources to survive. On a planet, it's a little bit different, because you actually need to get to the point of getting into space and being viable in space, and I thought this would be a better getting started video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a custom game, and I'm going to start with a star system. I'm offline, environmental, hostility. I'll set it on normal. Right, now I'm also going to go to advanced here, and I'm just going to set up the efficiency on these things a little bit higher. It just means stuff gets done faster. And to be perfectly honest, it's like the time it takes to do things in this game, yeah, you don't really need to be going for this whole realistic thing, because you'll just be spending ages sitting there going, is it done yet? Done yet now? Is it done yet? How long till it's done? Is it done yet now? And be annoying like I am. Right, okay. Well, I just pressed space there. I don't know what I've done. Right, so also if you have problems sort of running the game and things start lagging up, you might want to do this, which is max objects. Drop it down to about 56. There's values higher than 64 can significantly affect performance. Apart from that, I generally just run with these settings here. So I'm just going to start it off. We'll call this getting started. Right, okay. Now, I just want to point out that picture there is complete bullshit, because you can't use ion thrusters on a planet. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to start with is planetary lander. Honestly, I don't really do the Mars planetary landing or the alien planetary landing. I like starting on the Terran ones and going from there. So I'm going to respawn in that ship, and it'll just take a little while to kick in. Right, so when you first start the game, if you've never played the game before, never set up your tooltips, you might find that in the centre of your screen, you have like a fuck ton of things telling you what to do. In fact, if I go to options, game, turn that on, you'll be able to see everything that it puts in front of you. There you go. So it'd be kind of hard to see things. So if you want to turn it off, just literally go to options, game, and show control hints. Right, so this is your planetary lander. Now, first of all, you're not going to be able to actually stop this descent. What you've got down in the bottom left of your screen, it says inertial dampeners on. Well, it says dampeners on. And once you get to the point where your thrusters actually have the ability to work, it will slow your descent. Now, the reason that you don't have that ability when you're in the outer atmosphere is these thrusters that you have on your ship are actually the atmospheric ones. So they literally only work within an atmospheric environment. It's just, the idea is basically they're jet turbines. That's what they are. In this game, they really only work with energy, and there's no fuel requirements for them. You have two types of thrusters that use only energy. That's atmospheric thrusters and ion thrusters. Atmospheric, obviously on planet; ion, off planet. The third type of thruster is hydrogen thrusters, and they will work pretty much anywhere. Right, so I am now stable. Now the button I'm pressing there to go in and out of that view is V, and Alt will let you look around here, and you press V, you can Alt to look around. Now if you end up doing something funky with your view, just press V again. It'll take you back to where you want to go. Now the first thing you're going to want is you're going to want a source of power. So you're going to want uranium. Now, I don't appear to have any... I don't see... Oh, no, there's a lake down there. So these are actually really good demonstrations to start off with. What you'll see is when you're looking at the lake, you'll see got the ice, and it's all ice on planets on this. You've got the ice, and then you'll see there's these dark patches on the ice. Now, that is the same everywhere. Wherever you go on the planet, where you see a dark patch, there is a resource underneath there somehow. Or somewhere, somehow. And your atmospheric lander actually has an ore detector, which it's a large ore detector, so you can see quite fast. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go down towards that lake. Now, what I'm doing here is kind of funky, and I wouldn't recommend doing this if you are not comfortable with the controls. But what I'm doing is I'm just using the inertial dampeners to actually, you see, I'm just actually going downwards like that, and they've actually given me a little bit of forward thrust. And what I'm going to do is, once I get down to about 1500 meters, I'll actually pull it up and just let it glide me around a bit. So here we go. Ooh, that was getting awful close. Right, okay, so I'm just going to put it up again. And that would actually convert it to a little bit of force momentum. There we go. Now, I will say that these ships don't have particularly good forwards and backwards thrust, which is why I'm doing that. Is what I'm using is like when I tilt the ship forward, so I actually go to the external view, where you can see is there's actually a little bit of forwards thrust from my main thrusters there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ship down a little bit, and the first thing, the absolute first thing I would say you have to do if you've got any environmental hazards is jump out your seat here when the ship is fairly stable. You don't want to do it too low to the ground. There we go. Now you want to grab a load of stuff in here, and you probably don't really want your power cells, if I'm honest, because pissing around with your like the solar panels to start off with is not a great way to go. But if you put these in the assembler, go to production, in fact, you don't even need to put them in the assembler, and just disassemble all, it will give you a load of things here. Now there's a couple of other things I want to put in there. What I'm going to build on the sides of the ship is I'm going to build 4 internal turrets and interior turrets. I have turrets inside me, and what you need to do with them is they just can protect you from dogs. Now you're going to have these like dogs that attack you when you're out there, and they actually give you resources if you kill them. So while that's going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the information for this. So we press G here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that on my, just pull that onto a taskbar. Right, so what we're going to need is steel plates, computers, motors, large steel tubes, small steel tubes, construction components. So how much of that have we got? So we've got that, we've got the computers, we've got the construction components. We're probably going to need large steel tubes, small steel tubes. Let's see, large steel tubes. Large steel tubes and small steel tubes. Okay. Actually probably got enough of those, so I'm just going to produce a few. As you see, as I'm disassembling this, I'm actually getting some resources back. If I go to assembling, I'm just going to create, I didn't mean to make that many. Right, so when you hold shift on something that you create, it will give you 100 of them. You press control, it gives you 10. So I'm just going to grab all of that stuff. So let's grab a couple of hundred. Well, I don't even need a couple of hundred of them. Grab all of them, grab all of them, 100 of them, and then grab as many of those as I can. And then the last thing I'm going to do is grab those out of there. Right, that's me ready to build. The next thing is, most important thing, is you're going to need your hydrogen bottles. And you don't need your oxygen bottles because this is apparently a low oxygen environment. That's interesting. Gonna need your oxygen bottles then. Right, there we go. So we've got hydrogen and oxygen bottles. Right, we are ready to go. Oh, and I got all my ammunition. Right. So press X to go into flying mode, and I'm just going to put on each corner, kind of give me interior plates. I need interior plates. My bad. Right, let's do that again. Now I've got interior plates. Now you want to keep an eye on your hydrogen or your fuel on there. And you see it's there on the bottom left hand side of your display. Motors. Need motors as well. So as you can see, I've not played this for a while. Can't remember what I need for a lot of stuff. Right, okay. Motors, interior plates as well is what I needed there. So let's do this. Now do keep an eye on your hydrogen. You do have 2 bottles if you've done what I've done here. But yeah, just keep an eye on it, because you don't really want to plummet to your death. Right, so what you do is just right click and drag. I'm just going to put 50 in each one. There we go. Right. There we go, my hydrogen is refilled. Now what I do is I put it on each corner there, because it should give me fairly good lines of sight. And it just means that when I'm going down into, say, a mine that I'm building, I'm not going to get killed by the dogs sort of clusterfucking me. There we go, here's a second one. I should have enough hydrogen to do this. Let's have a look at the hydrogen bottles. Yeah, okay, I'm doing okay there. Right, once again, just drag 50 into here. There we go, and we'll do this on the back of it as well. Now this is something I always advocate to my friends to do when you're playing this game. Is this just takes so little resources to do, but it just guarantees your safety. Well, nigh on guarantees your safety. Okay, and then you've only just got idiot moves like I am very, very good at doing. For example, going down to a mine and not having enough hydrogen to get out. Now it will take forever for one of these turrets to go. Well, not forever. It will take a fairly long time for one of these turrets to actually go through even one clip of ammo, so you'll find you'll be perfectly fine for quite a while. Right, okay, so that's all of that done. Time to go back into the ship. Now the cool thing about these ships is you do start with it all linked up, so what you can do is hold F on this and it will refill your oxygen and your energy. Right, now next thing I need to do is just put all this back. Click on the right damn thing, there we go. Right, let's put all this back into here. And I'm just going to drag my hydrogen bottle into an oxygen generator. There we go. Right. Now we go looking for Enorgee or uranium. So, now a good idea is what you do is if you actually keep your horizon indicator in your view as you look down, it just makes life a bit easier. A bit of a glitch there, but that's all cool. Right. Now you want to be hovering about 50 meters above the ground. Actually, ideally you'd be like 40 meters, but 50 meters gives you a nice margin of error there. Ooh, move your mouse too much. Now you don't have to use your mouse to control the up, down, left, right. You can actually use the keyboard. I just like the mouse. Okay, oxygen environment high, so I've taken off my helmet there. As you can see, it's down, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, down on the bottom of your screen there. So let's get down a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Now as you can see, it's already telling me there's ice below me, which is kind of a dar thing. And you will want ice to actually create yourself oxygen, but at the moment you should have plenty in there. Right, so I'm going to go to 50 meters. There we go. Didn't mean to jump out of my seat. And now I'm just going to go over towards these darker deposits on the ice, because it's a lot easier to see them on the ice and you've actually got a lot smoother surface. Now what you're going to notice here is that I'm not actually going to land the ship. I don't know if this bug is still going on, but it used to be this horrible bug that if you landed the ship on the planet and you left it there for too long, even if you didn't lock it to the planet, it got stuck there. Right, so I see an iron deposit. As you see, it's underneath the ice there. Let's see what else we can find over there. So this deposit here is... I've got nickel over there, iron, ice, cobalt. Anything else? Iron, ice, and cobalt. No, doesn't look like it. So now it looks like that nickel deposit's actually in the mountain, but I'm going to mark this up. Right, so another thing is really useful for you to have a GPS or GPS markers. All we do is do new from current position. It'll give you this markers as, you can blame me 1 for example for me. So if we look around, see that's there. Now if I go back into my GPS, I can rename that. So I'm going to say Fe for iron, Co for cobalt, and Ni for nickel. I think it's CO for cobalt. Anyway. Right, there we go. So that's now marked up, and I know I can come back and find that. Because right now, I don't need iron. What I need is energy. Right, so let's go over here. Bring my altitude up a little bit. Now, don't go barreling too far forwards, or too fast. Oh, saw a deposit over there, but I'll go and sort it out in a little while. You have got a lot of momentum, so it takes a while to build up the speed, but it takes just as long to stop. So here we go, 49. Let's go back down a little bit. Silicon underneath there, so we've got silicon, magnesium. Now usually, there we go, silicon, magnesium and uranium. Right, let's wait for the ship to stop. Throw down a GPS here. So, new from current position. SI, as we'll do it. Probably should do it alphabetically, even though I didn't do it on the first one. So, MG, SI, U. There we go. Right. Now, you can take these off of your HUD. Right, so now I'm doing this. I need to sort of locate where's directly above the uranium. So, let's... And it's good because you just leave the ship hovering and you can figure out, well, okay, the uranium's there. Right, so it's all there. Right. So, first things first is just go and get a load of uranium. So what you'll notice here is that you can't see it. Even when you pull up your mining tool, which does actually show you deposits, you won't be able to see the uranium first off. So let's fly down. And we can see the silicon and we know the uranium's right below it. Now I'm going to just mine directly down and then I'll build a tunnel that's easier to come up. Now if you hold right click on your mouse, what you will do is just build a nice wide tunnel to travel down, which is kind of cool. Right, so I see the uranium there, so I'm going to... Oh. Is that uranium? It is. Cool, that's nice and low for me to get to. Right, so I'm just going to dig around in a circle. I'll just pick all this up. It's all useful. This is the other thing I do like about actually... Oh, right, okay. Tell me. So, as you can see, the turrets are doing their job. That's one dead. Give me, you little bastard. Right, that is dead. Now that is actually really useful because when you actually find the corpses of these things, you get stuff. So there we go, we've got steel tubes. How much uranium did I get in there? Well, that was silicon. Ah, right, okay, that wasn't silicon. That wasn't uranium I was mining, it was silicon. Okay. Probably should have looked into that. Yeah, this is all. Okay, right, so we'll go.
Inventory full.
I'm just going to grab this back up to the ship real quick. Fly this up to the ship even. Refill my hydrogen bottles and go back down there. So, right. Let's put this in there. Now, if you just throw stuff in a container, it will sort of auto move it into the right places most of the time, unless it's full and then it tends to get stuck. But yeah. There's our hydrogen bottles. Now, before I go back down there, let's just go and find those other corpses. Now, you have about, if you've got there about as fast as I have here, you have about 40 minutes, or maybe 30 minutes to do this. So there we go. Construction components, always useful. Helps you actually click on them. And I thought I saw another one that died. Apparently not. Okay. Right. Let's go back down there and find that uranium. Aha! There we go. Uranium. Just dig a little hole out here. Right, okay, let's start digging this out. Now, you are going to want some stone to make gravel for reactors, but you're not going to want the amount that's here. And if you've only got, say, 56 things lined up, what you can do is just pick and choose what you're going to pick up. So there we go, uranium. And the stone will just sort of gradually despawn.
Meteor storm inbound.
Right, now another reason why those turrets are useful, and I'm actually going to put some more on top of the atmospheric lander in a minute, is that what they do is they will actually shoot down meteors if you have them set to shoot down meteors, which I might not have done. So we may go up there and find there's an exploded ship. Seems quite likely I might go up there and find an exploded ship. Now you can see that the actual inventory size is, there's a bar, as you see, hand drill right here. And as I pick things up, that is actually going up. That is your inventory space. Now it is actually done on space, not weight. So it's the amount of litres that it takes up. Which is kind of weird to me. But there we go. Not judging. I am judging. I'm just not saying I'm judging. Which is kind of a moot point when I said I am. Okay, right. Waffling over, up there. And let's get this uranium on the cook. Did the ship survive? It did! Woo! Right. Now, let's just throw this in here first. Now you'll see this will get transported into the refinery. Now, I don't really need to drag things about at the moment. What you can do is... wait for that to get in there. So, for example, if it was really urgent to get that uranium done, I can actually drag it in like that. Or you can drag it to the back of the queue. How much uranium do we have in that small reactor? 38. 0.38. That should be more than enough to do all this. But, just to be safe. Now, uranium does take quite a long time to cook. So, don't be expecting huge amounts... don't expect huge amounts like straight off. Now this would be a good time to actually start taking stock of the stuff you have and to break it down into resources. You generally want to have a fair few things, like just to make it easier, just have, say, steel plates, small steel tubes, large steel tubes, or generally just want an inventory there of things to pick up. But at the moment I'm just going to leave these as they are, but I will disassemble what is in the assemble at the moment. Right, let's see what else we've got here. Now another thing when it comes to actually figuring out what things you have is you can actually play around with your layout here, and you can also do, for example, hide empty, which makes life easier. So for example, I can drag all of those into my thing, go disassemble, there we go. Right. For those. So as you can see, I use very little ammo there. I am going to want magnesium very shortly, but the first thing is make sure we've got enough power. Now at the moment you're kind of running off battery power, but yeah, so the amount of uranium I got there will last you for a fair old while.